Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is HD Starcraft, and I'm back for Game 4 between Jaedong and Bomber in what has been a incredible match. Bomber pulling out all the stops and showing that, hey, when it's the finals and it's a tournament and money's on the line, there is nothing that you won't do to win that game. So Bomber now is up 3 games in this set. If he wins this 4th game, it is all over for Jaedong. And dare I say it, but man, Zergs have really been struggling to deal with Widow Mines as of late. And, you know, I'm thinking here at some point there may be, you know, a balance change done to Widow Mines in general, because they're in conjunction, by themselves are not incredible, but in conjunction with Marines, in conjunction with the strategy that Terrans are employing right now, very hard for Zergs to deal with. And, you know, I'm not gonna like stir up the pot and say that balance should be done one way or another. You know, that's for the Blizzard to decide and the pro gamers to decide. But I do feel like Jaedong has been struggling in this matchup, as have other Zergs. And the question now is, and obviously Bomber isn't going to go for like a crazy all-in on a map like this. It's unlikely. I mean, I can't say he won't, but it is unlikely that he will do that. And having said that, since it is a huge map, and, you know, it is the, you know, Game 4 now, I would imagine we're going to see a late game here between Bomber and Jaedong. And if that's the case, how does Jaedong deal with the sick Marine Widow Mines that have been crippling him in the last 7 or 8 games I've casted Zerg versus Terran for him? We'll just have to wait and see if he comes up with some type of strategy. Mutalisks so far haven't worked at tier 2. Baneling Zergling hasn't worked too well. Infestors, you know, they're kind of iffy. And I still think going up to Hive quickly is a way to deal with it, but first, you got to be able to tech up to Hive and not get harassed. And secondly, you know, it takes forever to get up to Hive. And, you know, it can be countered by Vikings. It can be countered if you go Broodlords. And it can be countered by Mass Marauder if you go Ultra. But anyways, all that aside, Jaedong here is going to be going for a triple hatch. And like I said before, it's a big map. So that's what I expected to see. And it's kind of bold from Jaedong's standpoint, because he just got all-in a double proxy barracks on game 3, the prior game. So it's pretty bold here, pretty ballsy from Jaedong to go for a triple hatch. But, you know, he has to. This is a big map, and it's probably his best opportunity to win. Now, he is going to be pulling drones off the line, and it looks like, yeah, just pulling over the main arch. And Bomber, I think, right there was just trying to get in the head of Jaedong, saying, aha, I'm going to do it again. But he really wasn't. Obviously, he's expanded back at home, and Bomber just kind of playing mind games right now and trying to get under the skin of Jaedong, I feel like. And, you know, mind games are a part of StarCraft. It's as much a game of your skill, you know, physical skill, as it is mental skill. And it looks like Bomber here is just going to play a very standard opening here. He's actually added on a couple more barracks, has the gases coming up right now as well. And yeah, I would imagine he's going to go Marine Widow Mine once again. There's really, you know, no reason not to. And from what I've seen, his typical opening employs an early siege tank just for safety. And I think the reason for that is to deal with something like a Roach Baneling all-in. Having a few tanks in the beginning is just so critical, because they, you know, they give you the long range and they can splash down the armored units. Very, very nice to have a few siege tanks in the beginning, and I think, you know, that's a very solid opening. If you're a Terran player, you know, take notes. This is the way to go, I think, in TVZ. And we should be seeing him throw down a factory pretty soon here. Note he's also bringing a Marine around, doesn't want to let that Overlord get free information. And is going to, I guess, just control the perimeter. And we do hear a little bit of firing going on. It looks like one Zergling is on the menu today. And Bomber takes it out with his 4 Marines. So that's that. Meanwhile, we do have combat shields on the way from the tech lab. And more Marines coming and grouping up in front of the building. And pretty passive opening so far. There is a macro CC, so yeah, very passive from both players, and you know, that's what I expected to see on a map like this. It's just so big. Look how many expansions there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I think I counted that right. That's a pretty large number of bases, and it is, you know, the biggest map size available. So there you has it. Anyways, double Evo Chamber coming down here at the front for Jaedong. Queen going down the creep and has plopped down a couple of tumors. I do hear a comsat station being dropped down at the natural. And a Bomber now is going to move out with some of his Marines. Now this is timed so that Combat Shields kicks in. And interesting that he's going to push with Combat but not Stim Pack. Now, you know, Combat Shields, I mean, we'll see. Usually I feel like Combat Shields is a better defensive upgrade, obviously, you know, but we'll see what happens here. This is interesting from Bomber. Very awkward timing attack without Stim Pack. And Jaedong not prepared for this. Quite the squad of Marines. And some drones are going to go down here at the gas. Jaedong was not prepared for this awkward timing at all. 7 drones have gone down already. And this is a lot of 55 HP Marines. And the Queens are going to be pulled off the line to deal with this, but they are getting targeted down, and Jaedong is going to lose a Queen here. I think, oh, this is just a disastrous start for Jaedong in Game 4. These Marines, even without Stim, just showing that all they need is shields and bayonets, and they can take anything down. And oh my god, Jaedong forced to drill his drones to take out these Marines. He's lost 9 drones already. Finally, the Zerglings take him out. And Jaedong with not the hot start here in Game 4. He's lost about 9 workers, which, you know, it isn't terrible considering he did kill off, you know, about 16 Marines or so. If we look at the units lost tab, though, it is still reflective of Jaedong being the one who suffered more. And yeah, he's gonna try to go for a counterattack here, but with Marines bunkers being erected too, yeah, I don't think Jaedong's gonna be able to bust through there. And Stim Pack now, along with +1/+1, are on the way for the Terran. So all upgrades, you know, full steam ahead here for the Terran, and in fact the production tab is just showing a bunch of stuff going on here. You know, Jaedong is going to be adding in Burrow and Banelings, and that's something that has worked out, you know, decently against the Marines and Mines. If you can get a couple of really good detonations, and then it's okay. It's basically like watching underground warfare versus underground warfare, which is really cool. I love watching, you know, the new metagame of ZvT. But you know, I don't think Banelings are as effective as Widow Mines, because Widow Mines, the Sentinel missile is free. It is timed. It takes 45 seconds, but it's free. The Baneling is not free. When it dies, it's, you know, the cost of the Zergling plus the Baneling. So you do have to consider that. Anyways, we do have another expansion coming up here for Bomber as he brings his Marines over. There is some creep that is taking up the real estate, so he will have to wait for that to evaporate as he brings his Marines over. We do have a Spire coming up as well, and Bomber here is not actually going for mines. I just realized that, but he's actually going standard classic Marine tank here. So he is not gonna go Widow Mines this game, and you can see here that he has not even started the upgrade for Drilling Claws. He's just gonna push out with Marines and tanks, and I guess he feels like he can make an attack here on Jaedong. And Jaedong, I mean, Comsat's going down obviously to not only reveal the creep tumors, but also any potential Burrow Banelings. And now the tanks are going to be setting up. They are going to be able to just blow Banelings coming from around the backside. But Jaedong unable to hit the Marines. He might have been better served just sending those Banelings into the siege tanks instead, because there was no way they were going to hit the Marines at how slow they were without Baneling speed. And now Jaedong is going to maybe lose the pocket expansion here. Drone's trying to run away, but Jaedong can't do anything about it. He is going to lose more workers. 26 workers have gone down already. The siege tank is continuing to provide auxiliary firepower from the low ground, and it looks like Bomber even using medevacs to evacuate whatever Marines were weakened in that fight. Going to be brought over actually into the main base, and Jaedong now has multiple fronts to deal with. If he doesn't get things together pretty soon, he could just lose this game, and of course that means the finals of the WCS. Bomber here applying maximum pressure now inside the main base, also going to take out the pocket expansion, and Jaedong just doesn't have an answer. He does not have an answer for the relentless aggression of Startail Bomber. Marines just continuing to unload into the main base, of course being healed by those medevacs, which are actually pretty low on energy, so they can't heal them all too much. It looks like most of the Marines here have been taken out. The tanks have gone down as well. Jaedong has mustered up a sizable army here, and he is going to be able to clean up, but at what cost? He has lost considerable numbers here. Not only the pocket expansion, but also a multitude of workers. 30 drones have gone down already. He actually has less workers than the Terran has SCVs. And this is not boding well for Jaedong at all. he is going to be able to kill off a couple more Marines here. Poor guys. They could have actually just gone home nice and safe. You know, their family's waiting for them like, oh yeah, job well done. But nope, Bomber's just going to drop you off and let you die. But more Marines coming over here on the south side. And Jaedong does have mutas now in the skies. And look at this. What a great deployment from Bomber. Depositing his Marines down, knowing that the medevac cannot get away. So he just lets them all out, lets them all off, and you know, gets maximum value for his Marines. And Jaedong now, he does have mutas in the skies. This is, of course, once again, like I said before, the signature unit for Jaedong. It's his Stone Cold Stunner, but it's late. I mean, it is now 15 minutes in. He has suffered serious damage in this game. And, I mean, he will need a miracle to get back. I mean, and at this point, I don't know what he's going to do. Maybe just going to go for an all-in. Now, granted, he does have another expansion up here that was mining the entire time, so he does have that expansion running, but he's very low on drones for where he should be. He is going to try to rehatch this location, but I fear that Bomber, I mean, you know, if you're a Jaedong fan, I fear that Bomber is just going to sit back on his 3 bases here and pump. And that is exactly what he's doing. He's at 182 supply. And here comes the push. Wow. 2-2 upgrades across the board. 3-3 starting here for Bomber. But I don't know what Jaedong can do here. Bomber is pushing out. And he didn't even go Widow Mines this game. He just went classic Marine tank. And, I mean, yeah, all playstyles still work, obviously. And you don't necessarily need to go mines. And here we go. Oh, nice snipes from Jaedong. Takes out a couple of medevacs there. 2 of them, in fact, going down. He does lose his Overseer, but not like he needed it this game anyways, because there aren't any mines. And he is going to need to go for the epic surround here to try to take out this Terran army. It looks like some of the Marines have pushed over to this hatchery, but Jaedong is going to send his mutas in to take those Marines out, but more Marines coming up. Meanwhile, Baneling's exploding. But look at the spread from Bomber. I mean, this is almost impossible for Jaedong to destroy. It looks like he's going to lose the pocket expansion once again. And Jaedong just doesn't have enough forces. He's going to be forced to send everything in, but he knows it's not enough. But he goes for it anyways. And just going to be a GG for Bomber. And Jaedong, of course, well-mannered as always, calls GG well played. But what an incredible game by Startail Bomber. Set of games, in fact. Really solid. I love the awkward timing with the Marines. That was, I didn't expect it. Jaedong didn't expect it, and it worked. Really sprung him forward for the 4th game. And so there it is. Your winner is Startail Bomber. I hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, check me out. I'm at YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at HD Starcraft. I'll have more games coming out for you guys in the near future. And I'll see you guys soon. This is HD, signing out.